June 28, 1914, Sarajevo, Bosnia, a sunny Sunday morning, a parade, cheering crowds, an archduke and his wife riding in an open car, and a 19-year-old student with a gun. 2 shots, 10 seconds. 4 years later, 17 million people were dead. How does that happen? How does one assassination pull the entire world into war? Let's start with who was in that car. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, not a particularly loved man. Even in his own country, many thought he was arrogant, cold, but he was next in line for the throne, and next to him, his wife, Sophie. They were in Sarajevo for a military inspection, a show of imperial power in a region that didn't want to be part of the empire. Bosnia had been annexed by Austria-Hungary just 6 years earlier, in 1908. The people there, many of them wanted independence, or to join Serbia, their Slavic neighbor. And there was a group, a secret nationalist organization called the Black Hand. Their goal? Free Bosnia from Austria-Hungary by any means necessary, including assassination. June 28th, the Archduke's motorcade drives through Sarajevo. 6 assassins are positioned along the route. Young men, students, armed with bombs and pistols. The first attempt fails. Someone throws a bomb. It bounces off the Archduke's car and explodes behind them, injures others. But not Franz Ferdinand. The Archduke is shaken, angry, but he continues. Later that morning, they're driving to visit the wounded from the bombing. And here's where everything changes. The driver makes a wrong turn. Down a narrow street called Franz Josef Street. The driver realizes the mistake, stops the car, starts to reverse. And standing there on the corner, by pure coincidence, Gavrilo Princip, 19 years old, one of the assassins. He'd given up, thought the mission failed. And now, the Archduke's car is stopped. 5 feet away from him, he raises his pistol. 2 shots. The first hits Sophie in the abdomen. The second hits Franz Ferdinand in the neck. Within minutes, both are dead. June 28th, 1914. The Archduke is dead. It's tragic. It's shocking. But it's an assassination, not a world war. So how did we get from one to the other? The answer? A system. A web of alliances, treaties, promises. A system that, once triggered, no one could stop. Here's how it worked. July 28th, 1 month after the assassination, Austria-Hungary blames Serbia for the attack, issues an ultimatum with impossible demands. Serbia refuses most of them. Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. Russia is allied with Serbia. Slavic brothers. Russia mobilizes its army to defend Serbia. Germany is allied with Austria-Hungary, sees Russia mobilizing. Germany declares war on Russia. France is allied with Russia. Germany declares war on France too. To attack France, Germany invades Belgium, which is neutral. Britain has a treaty to protect Belgium. Britain declares war on Germany. From June 28th to August 4th, 5 weeks, 1 assassination in Sarajevo, and now Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire on one side, France, Russia, Britain, and eventually dozens of other nations on the other. This is what people mean when they say the war nobody wanted. Nobody wanted this. Not the soldiers, not most of the leaders. But the system demanded it, because once Russia mobilized, Germany had to act. Once Germany acted, France had to respond. Once Belgium was invaded, Britain had no choice. It wasn't a decision. It was a mechanism. A machine built on alliances, treaties, and promises made decades earlier. And once triggered, no one knew how to turn it off. August 1914. Young men across Europe enlist by the millions. They march off to war with smiles, flowers pinned to their uniforms, crowds cheering. In Germany, they called it a fresh, joyful war. In Britain, they said, "It'll be over by Christmas." It lasted 4 years. The trenches stretched 400 miles. From the English Channel to Switzerland, men lived in mud, in rats, in the constant threat of gas, artillery, machine guns. Battles lasted months. Entire generations were wiped out for a few hundred yards of ground. By the time it ended in 1918, 17 million dead, 21 million wounded. 4 empires collapsed. German, Austro-Hungarian, Russian, Ottoman, entire countries erased and redrawn. Gavrilo Princip, the student who fired those 2 shots, he was arrested immediately. Too young to be executed, he was only 19. He died in prison in 1918 from tuberculosis, weighing 88 pounds. He lived just long enough to see what his 2 shots had created. Some say he regretted it. Others say he never did. So why does this matter now? Why does a 110-year-old assassination still matter? Because the lesson of June 28, 1914 isn't about an archduke. It's about systems. Today, we have alliances, treaties. Article 5 of NATO. An attack on one is an attack on all. Mutual defense pacts with Japan, South Korea, the Philippines. We've built a system just like 1914. And a question we never ask: if something triggers it, an assassination, a cyber attack, a miscalculation, can we stop it? Or will it be 1914 all over again, but faster, with nuclear weapons? In Sarajevo, on the street where Gavrilo Princip fired those shots, there used to be a plaque. It marked the exact spot. For decades, people debated, was he a hero or a terrorist, a freedom fighter or a murderer? Here's what's not debatable. 2 shots, 10 seconds, and 17 million people died. Not because anyone planned a world war, but because systems, once set in motion, don't care about intentions. They only care about momentum. June 28th, 1914. A wrong turn, a coincidence, a 19-year-old with a gun. Nobody that morning knew they were about to change the world. Not the Archduke, not the assassin, not the empires. But they did. And the echo of that moment, it lasted 4 years. It killed 17 million, and it guaranteed there would be another war.